there's something in the silence of the MotoGP paddock that only the veterans can hear. A single comment from Jorge Lorenzo rippled through the paddock with unexpected weight. He said that when Marc Marquez returns from his injury, he will, quote, lose something. A small phrase, a simple prediction, but coming from a man who rode through fire, who fought Marc wheel to wheel, who knows exactly what it takes to stare down the impossible, it struck differently. It wasn't mocking, it wasn't disrespectful, it was almost a warning, a recognition of how human even the most superhuman riders can become. Because behind the highlight reels, behind the trophies and the impossible saves, there is a truth that MotoGP often hides well. Every injury leaves a mark. Not just on the body, but on the spirit. And Marc Marquez, no matter how many times he has risen from the ashes, has never stepped into a season carrying this particular combination of physical damage, emotional weight, and the expectations of an entire sport. But that is where the legend begins. Marc Marquez is not just another rider recovering from another crash. He is a man who has bent the laws of physics and redefined what it means to race on the limit. He is the rider opponents study with admiration, fear, and confusion. The rider fans still believe in, even when he is broken. And the rider whose name is whispered in the paddock whenever someone wonders who will define the next era. Yet here he is again, injured again, healing again, rebuilding again. It's not the first time, and it certainly won't be the last. But this one feels different. Because the older you get in MotoGP, the more every crash matters. Bones heal slower, muscles stiffen faster, nerves refuse to forget. The body stops being a perfect machine and becomes a fragile collection of stories. Each scar a reminder of the wars you fought. Jorge Lorenzo wasn't predicting a downfall. He wasn't predicting collapse. What he was really saying was something deeper, something that all elite athletes know but rarely speak out loud. The body always remembers. And Marc's body remembers more trauma than almost any rider in MotoGP history. Even as he pushes through recovery, even as he refuses to let silence or doubt consume him, the reality of that truth lies in the background like a shadow. And that's where the story begins. Not in a crash, not on a podium, but in the unknown space between what Marc Marquez used to be and what he can still become. The recovery process has never been easy for him. Every time he hits the ground, the world holds its breath. Every time he stands back up, the world applauds. But behind that applause is a man facing the same question again and again. How much more can he give? After his recent crash, the medical updates were vague at first. Then came the confirmation of shoulder complications, ligament damage, and the brutal reality of needing time. More time than he wanted. More time than he could afford. Time that would force him to miss tests, skip crucial development sessions, and step back from a season that was supposed to be his comeback. As he sat on the sidelines, one thing became clear. The sport goes on without you. The engines roar, the lap times drop, the rookies gain confidence, and the veterans sharpen their weapons. And in that relentless forward motion, the weight of missing even a single test becomes heavier than fans realize. But Marc insisted publicly that missing the Valencia test would not hurt him. He said his return would depend on his body, not on the calendar. He said performance was about feeling, not testing. But beneath those words, the silence lingered. Because only Marc knows how much this injury has taken from him. Only Marc understands the quiet war happening inside his shoulder every morning he wakes up. The truth is, he has always healed fast, but not flawlessly. The public sees the surgeries, the statements, the photo of Marc smiling in a hospital bed. But what they don't see are the nights when the pain keeps him awake, the hours of physiotherapy that break him down and rebuild him. The fear, not of losing races, but of losing himself. Every comeback story carries the weight of the one that came before it, and Marc's comebacks have been some of the most dramatic the sport has ever seen. From the nightmare of 2020 to the long, slow, agonizing return in 2021 to the shoulder surgery that reshaped his entire writing style, Marc is a writer who has fought his own body with the same intensity he once used to fight his rivals. The difference is, the body always fights back harder. But here's the truth Jorge Lorenzo didn't say out loud. The thing everyone's thinking, but no one admits. Even if Marc Marquez does lose something, he might gain something even more dangerous. Experience. Precision. A new way of winning that doesn't rely solely on risk. A smarter version of himself. A version that is still capable of becoming world champion again. The Paddock has seen this happen before. Riders who adapt, evolve, and return stronger in ways no one expects. Because MotoGP isn't just about being fearless. It's about understanding exactly when to attack, when to defend, and when to unleash the chaos that lives inside you. Marc has always lived in that chaos. The Mandalika crash was another reminder that even the greatest riders are mortal. But what made this one different was the timing. It came in a moment when Marc was rebuilding confidence, adapting to a new era of machinery, and proving he still belonged at the top. And yet, as painful as it was physically, it ignited something in him emotionally. A reminder that the journey isn't over, that if he wants to be champion again, he has to evolve faster than ever before. Every injury forces reinvention. Every crash rewrites the story. He knows what people are saying. He hears the speculation. He reads the whispers online. And though he'd never admit it, he feels the pressure. Not because he fears losing, but because he doesn't want his legacy to fade into memory. Marc Marquez is a name built on dominance, not survival, but that's what makes his modern story so captivating. He has become a fighter, not just a winner. There's something powerful about a champion who refuses to surrender to time. Something beautiful about watching a man rebuild himself from the inside out. And something terrifying for his rivals when they realize he's getting closer to full health again. Even now, with the injury still fresh, Marc's training sessions are intense. He pushes the limits of what his shoulder can handle. He works with doctors and physios who know his body better than he does. Every day is a risk. Every rep is a gamble. But every moment brings him closer to that one thing he craves more than anything. The feeling of being unbeatable again. The question fans are asking is simple. Will he ever be the same? Maybe not. Maybe he will lose a small piece of that insane instinct he once used to dive into corners like the laws of physics didn't apply. Maybe he will be more measured, more calculated, more human. But the question that matters is not whether he loses something. It's this. Does he need to be the same Marc Marquez to win again? The answer might surprise people. Because the Marc who dominated MotoGP from 2013 to 2019 was a phenomenon. A wild, unpredictable, electric force of nature. But the Marc of today could be something new. Something refined, experienced, strategic. And that version of him might be even harder to beat. Jorge Lorenzo's comment wasn't prophecy. It was perspective. A window into how injuries shape champions. But the truth is far more complex. Marc might lose something when he returns from injury, but he will also gain clarity, hunger, and the wisdom of years earned through suffering. And that combination might be the most dangerous version of him yet. The recovery is already underway. His shoulder is healing, his recovery is on schedule, his determination hasn't wavered for a second, and every doctor who sees him says the same thing. He is progressing faster than expected. When he returns, there will be pressure. There will be questions. There will be doubts, but there will be fire. That relentless spark that has carried him through every battle, every crash, every scar. Because Marc Marquez has never been defined by what he loses. He has always been defined by what he refuses to surrender. And when the lights go out in 2026, when the engines scream to life again, the world will be reminded exactly who he is. Not the rider who lost something, but the rider who still has everything it takes to be great.